听着谈。
平安就是shalom，这个很好听。
I have special shalom today.
今天呢，我有一个非常特别的这个shalom送给大家。
My daughter came from Hong Kong to visit people in the States, and last night it was my turn.
我的女儿呢，从香港过来看望在美国的亲人。昨天呢，她来到我这里来看望我。
When we went originally to the Chinese world, and the first step was Taiwan, because China in those days, 文革有一点不方便。
当我们和中国呢有联系的，说第一个联系其实就是台湾。
And we took her along with us when she was 3 months old.
就是当我女儿3个月大的时候呢，我们第一次带她去。
So she's born in America and she can be elected president. Remember that.
我的女儿呢是在美国出生的，要记得，其实她是可以竞选总统的。
But she grew up in the Chinese world, and she's pleased with that, and the other children are too. And so my wife and myself.
但是呢，她是在中国的环境里面长大的，我其他的孩子也是。
Okay, we want to move into the book of Job today.
那么现在呢，让我们接下来继续讲约伯记。
Last week was a preparation, and that is to say, people of ancient Israel had a strong feeling, knowledge of wisdom.
其实呢，上节课呢，我们是给大家呢，其实是在预习一下，在准备。我们知道在古时候呢，以色列人呢非常有个强烈的愿望，他们对智慧有一个强烈的追求。
Problem is that when wisdom was put into a little proverb, sometimes it loses a little bit of its meaning.
其实问题是呢，当把智慧这个集中在非常非常简短的那个很小的一个箴言上面的话，可能让我们有时候会很难能够完全理解明白。
And we noted last week that one of those problems is the input, thinking.
英国的Yeah, last week we talked about, we know that 有一个是一个因果关系。
Okay, we're going to see that today, and we're going to be seeing that probably every day that we're studying this.
那么呢，今天呢，我们就要看一下，而且呢，在接下来呢，我们也会把这个因果关系来看一下。
Okay, let's put. I don't even remember what we all have on the screen. Job 1.
现在我们看一下约伯记第1章。
1 to 5.
第1到5节。
Yeah, bring your Bibles along, because we're going to be looking at the Bibles more than we can put on the screen.
所以说呢，我们来看一下，希望大家呢也把圣经拿出来。那么我们看到的这些经节呢，很多时候可能不在我们的幻灯片上面。那么接下来我把约伯记1到5节第1章1到5节来读一下。Read it in English or Chinese?
随便。It doesn't matter, but I like you to read it though.
乌兹地有一个人名叫约伯，那人完全正直，敬畏神，远离恶事。他生了7个儿子，3个女儿。他的家产有 7000羊、3000骆驼、500对牛、500母驴，并有许多奴婢。这人在东方人中就为至大。他的儿子按着日子各在自己家里摆设筵席，就打发人去，请了他们的3个姐妹来，与他们一同吃喝。筵席的日子过了，约伯打发人去叫他们自洁。他清早起来，按着他们众人的数目献燔祭，因为他说：恐怕我儿子犯了罪，心中弃掉神。约伯常常这样行。
Thank you. Job is an orphan.
其实呢，约伯呢是一个孤儿。
We don't know his parents, we don't know his grandparents, we know nothing about his family background.
其实我们不知道他的父母、祖父母以及他的身世。
A famous man, rich man, wealthy, but we really don't know anything about him.
其实呢，他呢，是很富有、很有名的一个人，但是呢，我们对他的身世知之甚少。
And he comes from the land of Uz.
其实他从乌兹地来。
Where is Uz?
乌兹在哪里呢？
We don't know. We don't know where that is.
我们也不知道是什么，在哪里。
It seems strange because the Bible sometimes spends a lot of time tracing the families of the people that it talks about.
其实这看起来很奇怪，因为呢，圣经上面有时候花很多的篇幅来描述这个家族、这个家族史是怎么来的。
I'm thinking this was not an accident. This was on purpose.
其实我认为呢，其实这个并不是偶然的，而是有目的的。
And that is that we want to recognize Job as anybody.
其实呢，在我们呢，认识的约伯，其实和我们认识其他人是一样的。
And that means we need to put ourselves in Job's place for all that's going to come after this.
其实这就意味着你和我，其实我们每一个人要把我们放在约伯的这个处境、这个位置来看。
Okay, now what kind of person was he?
那么现在我们看一下约伯到底是什么样的人呢？
Read the first verse again.
那我们再读一下第1节。乌兹地有一个人名叫约伯，那人完全正直，敬畏神，远离恶事。
Okay, and the next verse talks about his children,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Second
And
verse.
then his wealth. In the Hebrew language, there is a connector between these two verses.
其实在希伯来语呢，第1节和第2节其实有一个联系的词。
If we would say, and usually it's translated and.
通常呢，翻译成在这里边呢就截止了。
Yeah. But sometimes it has a little special meaning.
其实有的时候呢，其实在这里呢，这个连接词有一个很特殊的意义。
If I would say, because of all of the rain, I went outside in the rain.
就比方说，下雨了，我到外面去。
And I got wet.
我被淋湿了。
These two things, what's the connection? I went out in the rain, I got wet.
其实呢，刚才这句话呢，下雨我出去了，然后呢，第2句我淋湿了，那么这2个之间有什么关系呢？
Or even if we put an and, I went out in the rain and I got wet.
即使呢我没有在那边 去之后淋湿了。
What does that and what does that mean?
但是在这里，这个没有显示出来这个连接词是什么意思呢？
所以结果 ，right?
在这里呢，其实这个 and 就是说，so therefore the result.
Okay, if we read the same thing in these verses, Job was a person who was upright and blameless and feared God and turned away from evil. And so he had that hand does the gift of children and all of his wealth. Is that connected with his worship of God?
就像在这里，我们第一节里面所讲的，约伯呢是完全正直，而且敬畏神，他远离恶事。那么接下来呢，就讲到他有7个儿子、3个女儿，以及后面的家产，在这里是不是和他敬畏神有联系呢？相连接，是因为他敬畏神才得到神的祝福。
That's using this little word to put a little piece of doubt that's going to be the topic of the book of Job.
其实呢，在这里就是因为这个小小的这个连接词，其实这个因果关系才让我们看在约伯记里面来看到这些。
Okay, now let's just look at a little closer at the person he was. He was clearly very wealthy.
接下来让我们来具体的看一下，在这里呢很明确，其实呢约伯是很富有的。
And wealth in those days was not measured by automobiles or by houses or anything like that. Cattle.
当时呢，虽然那些财富不以我们现在豪车呀、豪宅来计算，但是以当时的财富的标准，其实它有很多家具。
And then it continues to describe his children, who used to have a party.
接下来呢，就讲到他的孩子们，他们在那里呢摆设筵席。
Don't know what kind of party, don't know how often. It says that they would alternate places to have their gathering.
其实在这里呢，我们不知道到底是什么样的筵席，也不知道他们到底多长时间来办这个筵席。但是呢，我们在这里看到，其实他们呢是指定了来按照时间来办理这个筵席。
And what does Job do?
在这里约伯做了什么呢？
He offers sacrifice.
就在这里呢，他献祭。
Why is he offering sacrifice?
在这里他为什么要献燔祭呢？
Sorry, the camera is over here. Why does he do that? Did he do that because the children did something bad?
他为什么要这样做呢？他这样做是因为孩子做了什么不好的事吗？
No, not that we know.
不是的。
He did that just in case.
其实他这样做就是呢，以防万一。
You probably have never heard of a just in case sacrifice.
其实你们可能没有听说过，为了以防万一来献祭的。
Yeah, one need that. But he did that all the time.
但是他一直都这样做。
That is a very respectful to God.
其实这是对神一个非常的一个尊敬。
And he was a very good priest for the family.
其实他对于家庭来说是一个很好的一个祭祀。
He had shalom.
其实他呢心里面有平安，
His heart was happy, his home was happy, everything was good.
其实他的家人们呢都很高兴，他也高兴。其实家里面非常的平和。
Okay, now 1 to 5 we've talked about.
那么我们刚才讲了1到5节。
If we were making a play out of the book of Job, if we were making a play out of the book of Job,
那如果我们来有一个演出的话，就根据1到5节来有一个演出的话。
verses 1 to 5 would be on the big platform.
其实呢，那么1到5节呢，就是在一个很大的一个平台上面。
Then we'd also have to have a little platform up here.
其实那么在上面呢，在天上呢，其实还有一个舞台。
And that is for what comes below. That is because things happen up there.
其实那么这就是我们接下来要看到的，因为在天上呢也有事情在发生。
And what's down here, namely Job, has no idea what's happening up there.
其实在地上约伯并不清楚在天上究竟发生了什么，根本不知道呀。
Okay, let's read verses. We'll need my glasses. Okay. Okay, 6 to 8 first.
下面来我们来读经文第6到8节。
8节，对。
On the day the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them. The Lord said to Satan, "Where have you come from?" Satan answered the Lord, "From roaming through the earth and going back and forth in it." Then the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil."
Okay. Now, the big question, of course, is what is Satan doing up there with the angels?
那么现在的问题就是，那么撒旦在上面和那些天使们在一起干什么呢？为什么在那里呢？
And I don't know.
我也不知道。
And when I get to heaven, it will invite you to come with me and ask, the right people to see about that.
可能有一天当我到天上的时候呢，也会邀请大家。其实我们会来可能会能够更多的知道为什么。
And we're not going to spend much time on this.
我们不会过多的来讲这些。
Because, for one thing, when we finish with chapter 2,
因为当我们学完第2章的时候，
Satan disappears.
撒旦就消失了。
Says nothing. God doesn't talk about Satan. Job doesn't refer to Satan. The friends don't talk about Satan. It's kind of like he's there for setting the scene of what's going to happen.
其实呢，后来第2章之后呢，我们就看到撒旦其实什么也没说就消失了。神也没有再提到他，约伯以及后面他的朋友们也都没有提到他，就好像撒旦在这里他就设置了一个这个场景，一个开始就消失了，之后就消失了。
But what he is there for here is really crucial.
其实但是呢，他 在这里其实呢是非常残酷的。
Read 9 to 10.
我们接下来读第9节到第10节。Does Job fear God for nothing? Satan replied, Have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You have blessed the work of his hand, so that his flocks and herds are spread throughout the land.
Okay. Does Job fear God for nothing?
在这里，撒旦问说：“约伯敬畏神，岂是无故呢？”
Does Job have no expectations that because he worships, then God will bless?
其实他敬畏神的时候，他对神一点期待都没有吗？
Oh, okay. This is the question of the book of Job.
其实这个是在约伯记里面的问题。
We spent time last week on wisdom and said there is a little bit of a malping sometimes.
其实呢，上节课呢，我们学习了智慧。其实我们知道，在那里呢是有一点问题的。
That if then.
如果是这样，那么然后就是这样的。
Okay, and that's the question. And the Satan is saying, if the best person in the world is like that, what about us?
在这里呢，撒旦就说，那么如果世上最好的人是这样，那么我们呢？我们怎么样呢？
This whole world has got problems.
那么这个世上就会有问题了。
And it gets worse. The Satan does a terrible thing. 11 to 12.
接下来呢，撒旦呢做了更糟糕的事情，就是在11节到12节里面。But stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face. The Lord said to Satan, Very well, then everything he has is in your hands. But on the man himself do not lay a finger.
Just before that, I probably said the wrong thing. Haven't you, talking to God,
在这里呢，在这之前呢，问题就是你们有和神对话吗？有对神说过话吗？
after he says that Job asked the question about Job, then he goes on to say, haven't you blessed him?
在这里接下来，撒旦讲说，约伯敬畏神，岂是无故呢？后面他就说到，你岂不是四面筑上栅栏来维护他和他的家并一切所有的吗？他所做的都蒙你赐福，他的家产也在地上增多。
Okay, what is his point here?
在这里，他想要说的是什么呢？
If Job has an if-then expectation,
在这里，如果就是说你没有这些蒙福祝福给他、赐福给他的话，
okay,
没有那些期待，没有对神的这些期待。
it's not only Job that has an if you worship, then God will bless. Also, God has an if God blesses, then Job will worship.
就是前面呢，就是单从约伯的角度来说， 他敬拜神，神就会来祝福他。那么从另一个角度呢，提到就是神，如果说约伯一直在敬畏神，那么神呢就会赐福给他。
Problem in this world involves also God.
在这个世上的问题，那么也涉及到神。
It's as though everyone, including God, wants to buy something with something. And if that something doesn't come, this one doesn't either.
其实呢，问题就是在这个世上，包括神，问题就是我们有一个交换，就是说有一个交换，就是说如果我们用这个事情来做这个事情，那么我们就会以这个事情来得到我们另外想要的。
So what we have said was when God dismisses the Satan, Satan says, let's give it a test.
在这里呢，撒旦就说，那让我们来试一下。
Yeah. See if there can be a person who does worship God without any expectation.
那让我们看一下，如果一个人他只是单单的敬畏神，而没有期待从神那里得到什么的话。
Okay, God says, let's have a test.
那么在这里呢，神说，那好吧，让我们就试一下。
A terrible, frightening test.
其实在这里是一个非常可怕的一个试炼。
And that's because they're talking about that up there. Job down here knows nothing of that.
因为呢，在天上神和撒旦在这个讨论这个事情，但是在地上约伯对这些一无所知。
And so God lets the Satan go and do whatever he wants to do to test.
在这里呢，神就允许撒旦去对约伯来做这个试炼。
Okay, at that time, then the Satan comes down into Job's life. Job doesn't necessarily see him here. Comes down into Job's life, and things happen there. We'll just turn the lights off up here and turn the lights down here back on.
其实呢，撒旦和上帝对话之后呢，所以说撒旦就从天上下来了。那么在我们这个剧目的时候，表演上面就是那么上面的这个场景的灯光就灭了。那么现在我们就集中在我们在这个世上约伯所在的这个世上所发生的事情。
And what happens?
那么发生了什么呢？
It goes on to say, a servant comes running to see Job. And he came from a place where the oxen and the animals were there. And the other group, other people, the Sabaeans came and stole them all and killed all of your servants, Job, and I'm the only one left.
那么接下来呢，我们就看到约伯的仆人这个仆人就气喘吁吁的跑到约伯这里，说你看这些牛羊什么的，这些都因为18人来，所以说把牲畜就夺走了，所有的仆人都被杀死了，只留下我一个。
And while he was talking, another servant comes with the same thing.
正当这个仆人和约伯的时候，那么另外一个仆人也急急忙忙的跑来汇报不好的消息。
There was terrible lightning, and it burned the sheep, and the servants died too, and I'm the only one to tell you.
这个仆人就说，神从天上降下火来，将群羊还有仆人都烧灭了，唯有我一个人逃出来报信给你。
And then another one says the Chaldeans came and took all of the sheep, no, not the sheep, the camels, right, and killed all the servants. And I'm the only one.
那么接下来就又一个仆人跑过来，哭着说：“加勒底人过来，他们忽然间就把骆驼都掳走了，用刀杀了仆人，只有我一个人逃脱，来报信给你。”
And then comes one more yet, who said, there was a terrible wind and it blew the house down on top of your children and you're all dead. And the servants.
接下来又有个仆人过来说：“你的儿女正在他们长兄的家里吃饭喝酒，不料有狂风从旷野刮来，击打房屋的四角，房屋倒塌在少年人的身上，他们就都死了。唯有我一人逃脱，来报信给你。”
一下子。
Just sudden.
Thank you. Couldn't think of the English. All of his wealth was gone.
他所有的财富都消失了。
All of his future and his children gone.
他的未来，他的孩子们都没有了。
All he had were these 4 servants who were out of breath and out of hope.
唯有的就是他的这个4个仆人气喘吁吁的到这边来向他报信。
Now, his wife is still there, and she's going to come in the next chapter.
我们知道他太太还在，我们在下面的经节里面也会看到。
All of this happens.
所有的这些
because of what happened up here.
就是因为刚才就是因为在天上所发生的那一幕。
And Job has no idea of that.
其实约伯对上面所发生的一切是一无所知。
His first reaction, also very pious. He says, naked I came into this world, naked I will leave this world. We still bless the name of the Lord.
其实呢，他接下来的反应就是约伯便起来，撕裂外袍，剃了头，伏在地上下拜，说：“我赤身出于母胎，也必赤身归回。赏赐的是耶和华，收取的也是耶和华。耶和华的名是应当称颂的。”
It's an interesting insight about naked I came and naked I leave this world. And everything in between, which we sometimes put a lot of importance on. From Job's perspective, that's just that's just extra. That's just something that's yours temporarily.
其实呢，在这里有意思的就是，约伯讲到说，赤身出于母胎，也必赤身归回。其实，在中间，从出生到我们归到神那里中间的这段时间，其实我们世人非常努力的在经营的这一生，其实在这里都是多余的，一点都没有讲到，他这里一点都没有提到。
Okay, time is moving along much faster than the book of Job is. We got 5 minutes. Let's get into chapter 2.
其实我们还有5分钟，那我们接下来看第2章。
Okay, first few words are the same as in chapter 1.
前面的几节呢是和第1节差不多。
And God asked Job, Satan, where'd you come from? And he said, I just wandering around the world there, just kind of checking things out, seeing if people are really paying attention or if they're talking to their girlfriend or something.
就像第一节所提到的，在这里呢，神就问撒旦说：“你从哪里来呢？”撒旦就说：“我从地上走来走去，往返而来。”看看是不是大家都在听。
Okay. And God says, while you're wandering around, checking everybody out, have you looked at my servant?
在这里呢，耶和华就问撒旦说：“那么当你在地上走来走去的时候，那么你是否用心查看我的仆人约伯没有？”
Okay. And he just in verse 3.
这个呢，我们读一下，在第3节。Then the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil."
Go ahead.
And he still maintains his integrity, though you incited me against him to ruin him without any reason.
So you, who is you?
在这里呢，说你，那么这个你是指的谁呢？
Satan
指的是撒旦。
incited me.
在这里呢，指的是说，撒旦激动神去攻击约伯。
哪有任何人激动神？
Here, who dare to incite God?
Yeah, to do what?
来做什么呢？
To destroy Job.
去来摧毁、来毁灭约伯。
Who's responsible for what happened to Job?
谁来为对于约伯所发生的这些事情来负责任呢？
Joseph. It's not often in the scriptures that God himself says that the bad things that happen come from him.
其实在这里非常少的，在这里神说，对于在地上对约伯所发生的一切，是他来负责有责任的。
And now we have the problem of the book of Job.
那么呢，现在就是我们就是在这个来到了约伯记上所提到的这个问题。
And the problem is really not with the Satan. The Satan was one who got his hands dirty.
其实呢，问题不在于撒旦。其实虽然他手上沾满了恶事，做了很多恶事。
But the one who sent him out to do that, that's God.
其实呢，在这里，让撒旦来做这些事情的，其实这个话是出自于神的。
Now, say again, Job down here had no idea of this conversation either.
其实让我们再看一下，约伯在地上，其实他对天上的这个对话是一无所知。
Okay, now the rest of this chapter goes on to say, taking all of his goods, his wealth and children, that's not enough. Let's take his health, his body. Let's skin upon skin. Used often understood to say, okay, we've taken off the top layer of skin. Let's go a little deeper and see if Job remains faithful.
其实呢，接下来的经文我们就可以看到，其实拿走了约伯 他身外物这些财富，还有以及他自己的儿女这些还不够。接下来发生的就好比我们所看到的，除去他表面上的这些皮肤可能还不够，那要更深的来刺痛他，要从皮往下来继续的来挖来深挖这些。
And so Job lost, you could say, his health, lost his body was all covered with sores, and he was almost living death.
其实接下来我们就会看到，就是约伯他失去了他的健康，可以看到他浑身的皮肤在那里就溃烂，其实他基本上就濒临于死。
I should have noted especially one word in that early introduction of Job, just one word. It says he was the greatest of the sons of the east.
其实呢，在这里我们呢再提一下在开始我们讲到，其实他是约伯呢是伟大的一个东方之子。
Yes. Now, the greatest of the sons of the east is applied not to his wealth, but to his suffering.
其实在这里讲他是伟大的东方之子，不是说他有多富有，而是指的是他有多敬畏神，对神的敬畏。他的苦难指的是他的苦难，他所在世上所遭受的苦难。
And one last thing we want to, it shows the beauty of the book, even though it's talking about difficult things. Remember that Satan said, does Job worship you for no reason?
其实呢，在这里其实是讲这个约伯记之美这本书讲的，虽然描述的是苦难，但是透露的是这本书的美。我们可以在前面看到约伯就是他常常的献燔祭于神。
No. Earlier, Satan asked God, does Job worship you?
就是在前面讲到，就像撒旦向神所提的，约伯敬畏神，岂是无故吗？
Okay. And at the end of chapter 2, in verse 3.
那么接下来在第2章的第3节后面讲到
You incited me.
你虽激动，我攻击他，无故的毁灭他。
无故的。
就讲到there's without any reason.
That's the same word as the Satan used to criticize Job, to plant doubt about Job. And here it is used, God uses that word of himself.
其实就和第1章前面撒旦来问神这个无故，说约伯敬畏神岂是无故，和后面神用无故这个词来回答撒旦相吻合，相呼应。
We've reached our time. Have not talked about the wife. We'll do that next time. We have not introduced the 3 friends, and we have not suffered Job's suffering in chapter 3. We are way behind, but we can't make it up today.
其实我们时间到了，还没有讲到约伯的太太，还有后面提到的3个朋友，那我们接下来会讲。
In the meantime, I wish you all shalom.
所以同时我在这里，我祝大家平安。
See you next week.
那我们下周见。
Oh, and I apologize. My daughter and I are going to have to leave right after we're finished here, and won't be able to worship with you, but next week.
我和我的女儿呢要马上离开，那么下周和大家一起来敬拜。
Thank you all, and I just want to remind, 谢谢罗牧师。Yeah, I want to remind everybody, next week again, same time. Oh no, next week is we have still one more week, right?
Yeah, one more week. Yeah.
And then end of the month we have Pastor